the top 25 hedge fund managers. Hedge funds are these, giant operations that basically manage your money and are supposed to hedge against failures in the market. That's where the original name came from. So they would buy things like, options and derivatives to balance equities. Janet Yellen, by the way, this kind of a little spooky, just said that equities are fairly high in value. I don't have the exact phrase in front of me, but when I read that, I thought, oh my God, this is just like when Alan Greenspan said there's froth in the market, and basically predicting the crash. But in any case, top 25 hedge fund managers last year made $11.6 billion. 25 men. All of them are men, no women. Topping the list is Kenneth C. Griffin. He took home $1.3 billion last year. Now, you could argue that he was paid for what he did. His company is called Citadel, and it returned 18% to its investors. Now, if you simply bought the Standard & Poor last year, you just put your money in the stock market and said, buy an index fund that's all the S&P stocks, you would have made about 13% last year. This fund made 18%. Another one that was run by Mr. Ackman, Pershing Square Capital, gained 36%. And Ackman made $950 million. Now, that's interesting, one. See, because you and I can't buy into these hedge funds. You got to be really rich to put your money with a hedge fund. So you want to make 40% every year on your money? You got to have the money in the first place. This is not for people with a 401k, number one. Number two, most of the other hedge funds didn't do all that well. In fact, while the S&P posted a gain of 13.68% for the year, a lot of the hedge funds were producing returns of 3%, 4%, 5%. And they didn't do as well as the market itself. But even that's not the other shoe. That's not the amazing thing. They go on to say in this piece in the New York Times, deal book with founder Andrew Ross Sorkin. I'm sorry, for some reason the New York Times is printing gibberish on their headlines and subheads and credit lines, so I can't tell you who wrote this. But whoever wrote this in today's Times says, computer scientists whose firms use quantitative strategies were among the top earners last year. David Shaw, whose $36 billion D.E. Shaw firm hires data scientists to build algorithms for trading, made $530 million in 2014. In other words, they're making this money by not doing anything productive whatsoever. They're making this money by skimming money off the top of little tiny micro changes in the stock market. I mean, that's high frequency trading. There's a variation on that, and they're making money with money, but they're not even really making money. They're just taking money. Ayn Rand talks about the looters and the what's the other one? Takers and makers, right? And Daniel Quinn, the takers and leavers, right? Takers and makers, and these are the takers. The highest earning managers have also, and here's the other shoe. They also now, remember Henry Wallace said that the fascists in America are those who want to combine economic power in the marketplace with political power. They're reaching out for political power so they can essentially regulate themselves. From the New York Times, the highest earning managers have also emerged as leading political donors. For example, Mr. Griffin, whose $26 billion firm Citadel is based in Chicago, was the single largest backer for Rahm Emanuel. Last month, Citadel hired Ben S. Bernanke, the former Federal Reserve chairman, as a senior advisor. Right. You think that these guys aren't getting politically active to protect themselves? I mean, this is the big danger in a democracy. The big danger in a democracy is when the democratic institutions themselves are hijacked by people more powerful than the democratic institutions. And the Supreme Court, with the Buckley decision forward in 1976, has set this up for exactly that to happen. And that is the definition of fascism.